Hello and welcome everybody to another Cheyenne Hawk pen tutorial video, but this one will be specifically derived for the T-Tech needle cartridges that I used. This was another fan requested video, and this is going to be a complete guide, to the T-Tech cartridges that I do use and the reasons as to why I use those versus using the Cheyenne Hawk needles. Again, this is all, before I begin, this is all a matter of preference, convenience, and finances at the end of the day. Okay? So, now I have been using the Cheyenne Hawk products for about 2 years now. I've used the Cheyenne Hawk, the angular one first, and now I'm using the pen. And in the time that I've used the Cheyenne Hawk, I've used both with the Cheyenne needle cartridges and with the T-Tech cartridges. I prefer the T-Tech cartridges because at the end of the day, they do the job and they do the job well. I hardly get any barb needles. I hardly get any of that, and I don't have any issues. Now, one of the issues that was brought up to me by one of by this particular fan was the fact that is it okay if ink gets up in the machine because the T-Tech cartridges do lack this O-ring or this membrane or this piece of rubber, however you want to see it, that stops the ink from going up and traveling into your machine. Well, as you can see in this video, they don't have it. All they have is basically the spring ring. It's basically just a ring of rubber, and it just causes the spring action. Once the machine pushes it down, it contracts. That's it. It's just a small piece of rubber. But there's not another piece of rubber that would prohibit ink from flying up the shaft and into the machine. Now, has my machine had ink in it before? Yes. Have I been operating like that for a long time? Yes. Has my machine broken down on me? No. Not even in the slightest. It hasn't bogged it down, hasn't slowed it down. I've taken it apart, cleaned it plenty of times. Yes, there has been ink. I have gone in there with a little bit of alcohol and a cotton swab, and cleaned it out, or a Q-tip and cleaned it out, or a nice aerosol air duster. That also works. But relatively, this machine, at the end of the day, is about $950, plus tax or whatever. I don't know if the price has gone down, but when I got it, it was like $950 when I got it, because I was kind of one of the early adopters of the machine. And I've never had a problem with the pen. Does ink go in it? A little bit. But it's not to the point where it's going to fall off. And frankly, if you just don't have the finances for it, then maybe this particular system, at this point in time in your tattoo career, whomever you are or wherever you are, if it's just out of your financial bracket, that's fine. There was a point in time where I couldn't afford a fucking decent machine. I just couldn't. When I used coil machines, I had to use the cheaper machines until I could afford using, the better quality machines. And then I learned about rotaries, and I learned that was my niche, and that was where I feel comfortable, and I started developing my skill with them, and then I progressed. So it's all a matter of where you are and doing what you have. If you're considering buying this product, I can tell you from personal experience, I've never had an issue with the ink going up in the machine and destroying it. I haven't. Everyone else has their opinion, and of course, if it's your opinion, go for it. If it does bog your machine down, then by all means, go for it. If you don't have the money to replace it, then by all means, I completely understand, and that's where that ends. But when it comes to functions, from what I have experienced after a long day of doing 4 or 5 tattoos, after months of doing 4 or 5 tattoos every single day, the machine hasn't let me down. The machine, even my older Hawk, it hasn't nothing. I use it to travel, and I've never had a problem with it. Not even one time. I mean, not even in the slightest. I've actually had more problems finding paper towels than I've had with my Hawk machines. They make such quality products that even if there's ink in there, it won't bog it down. From my experience, again, this is all subject to experience, all subject to opinion. Okay, so from the T-Tech standpoint, These needles work completely fine for me and my needs. And I'm pretty sure that this will work for you, because as you can see here, it's a pretty simple machine. It's a simple cartridge. It's pretty much, you have the needle, you have a little rubber ring that goes around it, and your machine pushes it down and it goes up. There's no, I mean, of course the actual machine itself is very technological in nature. I'm not denouncing the machine. I love their stuff, and by no means am I getting paid to do this by anyone or anything like that. I just want to make sure I clarify that with you guys. I'm just letting you know that I've used these products, and they're up to quality, man. They're up to standards. And here I took it apart. I took apart the cartridge so you can see what's inside of it, so you won't have to do it yourself. You can see that basically it's pretty much, this is a long taper number 12 solder on it. You know, the needles are top grade. I mean, I've never really had an issue, and I tell you that I really can't complain in any way, shape, or form. They've done nothing but serve me well throughout the time of me using these needles and these needle cartridges in specific. The T-Techs are pretty phenomenal for what I use them. And as you can see, it's just a very simplistic, but it works. It works wholeheartedly, and there's nothing that can change that when it comes down to it. I mean, these needle cartridges work so well that it's what I use exclusively. Now, will I migrate to something better if something better comes along, or if I change my taste just like everyone else? Sure. If I say one day that, oh man, this new company called, I don't know, Ink Sluts or Donkey Balls, they make some great stuff, then fine. Because obviously you always want to use what's better suited to your needs. But this is what it's for. The T-Tech at this point in time is suited for my needs. I do a volume of anywhere from 2 to 3, maybe 4 tattoos a day, whether they be small or large, and sometimes I do large pieces. And I have like a large piece maybe once or twice a week, and I tattoo about 5, 6, 7 days a week sometimes. You know, so they're pretty constant. And for my workload and for my particular style thus far, this is what it suits. But again, it's very ambiguous in nature. So if you want to go with the T-Tech, I wholeheartedly recommend them. They've never given me an issue. I've never really had to return a pack, and I've never really had any outstanding problem that I can speak of, because if I did, I would tell them to go suck a cock. But if you guys go ahead and like this, if you did like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Lets me know that you guys are enjoying these videos. And if you want to see more future content, please leave a comment down below. I'll be more than glad to go ahead and keep making some more insightful videos as best as I can to describe my experiences or any future experiences you guys may want to have with the products that have not failed me thus far. And of course, hit that old subscribe button. It really does help your boy out. And as always, take care. Happy tattooing. Peace out.